Hey everyone, Samwise here, and today we're talking about the herb of the month, which is California poppy. Let's get a beautiful close-up of some of these amazing blossoms. Oh, there we go. I love how they are just like luminescent. And kind of fringy. And like delicate and open and ethereal. But also really hardy. Like, this is not irrigated where I'm sitting, which I am in, I think I'm in Occidental, California. And we're staying at this sweet little pond cabin here to help run some camps for queer and trans youth and to get some time in this really amazing ecosystem and see some of our dear ones. And it's hot, but it's a dry heat, and it's it's good to be here and get to spend some time with this being, the California poppy, which there's some in front of me too, so I'm looking at them and they are just glowing. And I love the like silvery, like dusty green of the leaves that are kind of fringy. And my favorite is at like in dusk or dawn, if you like kind of look at them in the right light, or like you look at them with a headlamp, the very, very tips of these leaves, which in this light look totally like gray green, like, you know, whatever, in that light will like reflect this like little, at the very tips of the leaves, this little bit of like reddish orangish light, and it just like picks up the light in this really cool way. And I just love that about this plant, that as above, so below, you know, like there's this orangey, like luminescent quality to the blossoms, and this orangey luminescent quality to like the tips of the leaves. And if you were to dig up this plant, which I'm not going to do, the root itself is this like beautiful, glowing, alive, juicy, like orangey red color, which makes really great medicine. It makes a really great nervine, so like helping calm the spirit, helping calm the body, and analgesic for pretty moderate pain, depending on your dosage. It's not an opiate, so you know we have the word poppy, but it's not like directly related to the opium poppy. So it has a like kind of poppy, like that kind of flavor. I want to say acrid. Some of the nervines taste acrid. But it is not habit forming. So it's safe to use for folks, especially who are working with addiction or working on like releasing ways of being, especially that have to do with like trying to locate like comfort or power outside of ourselves. So this plant is really carries a big theme of finding that like power and like resourcing, and not like power over, but like power from within, like finding that within ourselves, and like reminding ourselves that like our soul is like this golden chalice, right? Golden chalice right here. that emanates that strength and that light, and that like connection like from within us to outside. So I've had teachers say this plant is really about like connection between the body and the mind and the spirit, kind of like when those things kind of get disconnected in our culture for many reasons: patriarchy, racism, white supremacy, like capitalism, all the things, gets kind of like pulls us apart and like dissociates us in a lot of ways. And so Cal Poppy can really like help put us, kind of string us back together, in a way, kind of like putting us in connection with like what our body really needs, and what our spirit really needs, and where we can locate that power like within ourselves, our bodies, our spirits, so that we can show up in a more grounded and resourced way for ourselves and for others. And I have I'm just collecting Cal Poppy stories these days and from times before. So I'll share a couple now. And, you know, in the, in some of the literature, like some of the like flower essence stuff, we hear a lot about like this, like kind of working with like locating our personal power within ourselves. And yeah, I got to see that in real time this week, as like I was working this queer and trans youth camp, and with my partner Seed, who directs it, and yeah, just like poppies kind of subtly like woven throughout that, and just kind of seeing how poppy can really show up for us in times of like really big stress that can kind of like put us outside of our own power and our own selves, and like leaning on cow poppy to kind of get grounded enough to like rest and show up for these youth, and show up for like all the logistical challenges that come with running a camp, and also getting really real about what we need to do that and to show up for others, and like that includes like real rest. So I was kind of like working with the plant itself and like offering that plant to my partner as we like navigated camp, and like working with it in drop doses. It's kind of like on our bedside table right now, like holding it down. And then something I also realized that I don't have it on today. This is the camp shirt from the last year, Scrappy AF. This year we have a shirt that feature like cow poppy prominently. It's right up front. It's pink, which is like gay. And I also noticed last year the stickers that we made for the same camp, when it was a smaller camp, also had poppies like right in the middle. So I was like, interesting. I just noticed that today. I was just like, poppies are like showing up for these youth. Like what is it about cow poppy that really wants to accompany like this space? And I think it has a lot to do with like transformation, like really easing those cycles of transformation of like death and rebirth. And you know, a lot can happen at these camps where we're supporting these youth. Like it's a safe space for people to kind of talk about what's really happening in their lives, and there's a lot of like resonating and sharing and relating and releasing like a lot of pain about what it is to be a queer and trans youth in these times, and like getting held in that, so that it's like a little easier. It doesn't take away the pain, similar to cow poppy. Like it doesn't make it go away. It just makes it easier to be with it, and like to know that you're not alone in that. And yeah, the other story I want to share about cow poppy is I tell a much more extended version of the story for the youth when I talk about how important it is to like leave offerings for land spirits and be in good friendship with the land on which you are residing. And if you're a guest, then like being a good guest. But very briefly, I was staying here a few years ago while I was doing herb school, and I had my cat with me, and we were camping, and I like didn't do a proper like asking permission and like leaving an offering to the land spirit and like the people of this land. And I know that because I like put my tent right where some foxes were, and if you don't know, foxes are very territorial, and scared my cat away, who was missing for 2 weeks, and I was distraught. And either Seed or Anna, somebody near me was like, oh, have you tried leaving an offering for the foxes, and like apologizing and like asking for their support and getting her back? And I was like, I will do this. So I did it. And I wrote them a note and left an offering of a plum. And the next day I saw that the note was moved and the plum was gone. And then the following day I was sitting at my altar pulling cards, being like, where is my baby? And I pulled a card. The card had cow poppy on it, and the card was resurrection. And at the very moment of pulling the resurrection card, I heard, which is my cat's like, hello, hi, I'm here, I'm curious, and I'm trying to talk to you. And I like ran out and greeted her, and I like wept. So anyways, I tell that story to be like resurrection, like this idea of like being reborn and having this ease and this connection, like the ability to reach for support, to kind of pull all these elements of our being together to be connected, can be a real balm for these cycles of death and rebirth that we go through. Kind of like the myth of Inanna, which is associated with Venus, and like the Venus divestment cycle with the stars. It's something to look up. And where the myth is the goddess will, Inanna, has to lose something every time in order to journey into the underworld, and every time they come the cycle out of the underworld, they gain something back, like of their regalia or their adornment, and that has to do with like how Venus transitions from like the morning star to the evening star. That was a little bit rambly, but anyways, I'm gonna continue to keep learning about cow poppy and share what I learned with you. I'm gonna make an essence later in the week, which I hope to keep with me as I journey. I'm also going to be tattooed with a cow poppy by my dear friend and colleague Violet Thorns, and I'm really excited to take a piece of that wisdom with me as I journey like across the country again. So yeah, let me know your stories about cow poppy. Another one is just coming, and then that's the last one. When Seed and I, my partner, were first getting to know each other, like, we did it in like a long road trip from the Bay Area down to Joshua Tree, because I needed to get to a queer meditation retreat, and I asked for someone to come with me and help pay for gas. And they were like, I will do this. And so we like journeyed together, and that's how we really started to get to know each other. And then we went this, like, Google Maps took us like a bizarre way. I couldn't recreate it if I tried, but like we wound up at this like massive meadow of just all cow poppy, and Seed was like, pull over, let's go check it out. And like I wouldn't have done that if I was by myself, and so I was like, okay. And I like pulled over, and we like laid in this giant field of poppies together. And I was like, I think I want to kiss them, but that would be inappropriate on the way to a meditation retreat, so I didn't. But it was just like the first moment where I was like, oh, I have like love in my heart for this person. And that was like a big deal for me to be able to like tap into that and like remember that part of my being at that time. So some cow poppy love and reflections. And yeah, I'll leave you with one more shot of our friend, and then I will catch up with you soon.